If you inherited a home here in Orange County, there's a good chance someone has already shown up at your door, called you or texted you with a cash offer. Maybe it happened within days of the funeral. Maybe it's happening this week. That's not a coincidence. And before you say yes to anything, we need to walk you through what's really going on, because the choice you make in the next few weeks could mean the difference of tens of thousands of dollars to your family. Let's start with the mistake we see more than any other: accepting an investor's cash offer before exploring anything else. And here's what usually happens. A parent passes away, and almost overnight, the adult child becomes the personal representative of the estate. Suddenly, there's a stack of legal paperwork, a house full of belongings that needs sorting, maybe some deferred maintenance the parent never got around to fixing, and often family members with very different opinions about what should happen next. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot at the worst possible time when you're also grieving. That's exactly the moment an investor calls. The offer sounds like a relief. No repairs, no cleaning, no showings, no strangers walking through the home where you grew up. Just a number, a signature, and it's over. Most investors are not bad people, and there's nothing wrong with selling to an investor when it's generally the right fit. The problem isn't the investor. The problem is saying yes before you understand what you might be giving up in exchange for that convenience. And here's why heirs specifically get targeted this way. Investors know that someone managing an inherited property is often distracted, often grieving, sometimes living in another city or state, and frequently just wants the responsibility behind them. That combination, emotional weight plus physical distance, puts a desire to be done, makes inherited property owners some of the most approached sellers in real estate. Public probate filings make it easy for investors to find these homes, which is part of why families often hear from several buyers within the same month. Some of those investors offer a fair, fast solution. Others use pressure, repeated negotiations after the inspections, renegotiations, or contacts quietly assigned to the buyer. Then one shows up at the door. We've seen offers quietly reduced after the inspection. Often a family already felt emotionally committed to selling. None of that's illegal. It's simply a business model, and it works best when a family doesn't ask many questions. If something feels rushed, that's worth paying attention to. There's another layer that makes everything harder. Most inherited homes have more than one heir attached to them. Siblings, cousins, sometimes a surviving spouse from a second marriage, all with their own opinions. Now, if you're watching this because you're facing exactly this situation, here's something simple you can do today. Before you sign anything, get a second opinion. Subscribe to this channel so you have a steady source of clear, calm guidance through the rest of this process. And reach out to us directly if you want a professional second look at any offer that's already on the table. You don't have to make this decision alone. Let me share this story with you. A family came to us after inheriting their parents' home here in Orange County. Like so many families in this situation, they were emotionally exhausted. The home still held decades of personal belongings, drawers full of photographs, closets nobody had opened in years. There was deferred maintenance that had quietly piled up over the years, a roof that needed attention, a yard that had gone wild. Nobody in the family knew where to even begin, and honestly, no one had the energy to begin. One afternoon, while one of the adult children was leaving the property after another long day of sorting through their parents' belongings, an investor approached in person and offered cash for the house on the spot. The number seemed reasonable, more than reasonable. It sounded like the end of a very heavy chapter. Standing there in the driveway, exhausted and grieving, the family was ready to say yes right then. Fortunately, a family friend stepped in and encouraged them to get a second opinion before signing anything. That single phone call changed the outcome for this family. When we sat down with them, it became clear almost immediately that getting the highest possible price wasn't actually their biggest concern. Their biggest concern was reducing stress. They wanted help coordinating vendors. They wanted guidance on what to do with decades of personal belongings. They wanted someone who could manage the moving pieces and make sure they didn't accidentally make a costly mistake while they were still grieving. So we built a plan around exactly that. We interviewed and coordinated vendors on their behalf, from clean-out crews to handymen for deferred repairs. We helped them evaluate every option for this home, not just one sitting in front of them. We met with service providers so the family didn't have to keep retelling their story to strangers over and over again. And through every step, we kept one goal in focus: protecting the value of the estate while keeping the process as simple as we possibly could for a family that had already been through enough. The results surprised even them. By the time everything closed, the family walked away with approximately 20% more than the investor's original cash offer, and they still got the smooth, low-stress experience that they were hoping for in the first place. That extra 20% wasn't a lucky break. It belonged to the heirs all along. It just took one second opinion to unlock it. So, before you accept any cash offer on an inherited home, here are the kinds of questions worth asking. Is the person in front of you actually the buyer, or are they planning to assign this contract to someone else down the line? Can they show proof of funds? Have they purchased inherited properties before, and do they understand how probate or trust administration affects timing? Will they try to renegotiate the price after the inspection, which happens more often than most families expect? And maybe, most importantly, what would this property likely sell for with a proper full exposure to the open market? And how much of that potential value are you giving up in exchange for speed? That last question is really the heart of all of this. Speed and value are not the same conversation, even though they often get treated like they are. There's also a timing piece that catches many families off guard. If the home is going through probate court, there may be steps like court confirmation that affect how and when a sale can close. Regardless of how eager a buyer is to move fast, a buyer who doesn't understand probate timelines can make promises about closing dates that the court process simply won't allow. Understanding that timeline upfront prevents a lot of frustration later for everyone involved. So the question to ask yourself isn't, how quickly can we get rid of this house? The better question is, what option actually serves this estate and this family, given everything we're juggling right now? Those two questions can lead to very different decisions. This is where our role comes in, and we want to be specific about what that role actually is, because it's often misunderstood. Many people assume our job is simply selling houses. We see it differently. Our most important responsibilities are protecting the value of the estate, helping families avoid costly mistakes, coordinating every step from clean out to closing, and making a difficult process easier for everyone involved. Attorneys handle the law, CPAs handle the numbers. We manage what actually goes wrong in real life: the property itself, the people involved, the timeline, and the conflict that so often shows up in the middle of it all. In practice, that means helping families avoid expensive mistakes before they happen. identifying improvements that may increase the home's value, coordinating trusted, vetted service providers instead of a stranger from a flyer. Managing the preparation of the property itself, protecting a vacant home from the risks that come with sitting empty, like break-ins or insurance complications, reducing the day-to-day stress on the family, and helping heirs make informed decisions instead of rushed ones. For most families, this is first and only inherited property they will ever handle. For us, it's what we do every day, and that experience is exactly what we want to put to work for you. Before we wrap up, a few quick things worth remembering. If an offer shows up unusually fast, slow down rather than speed up. Get at least one outside opinion before signing anything, even if it feels like an extra step. Ask what the home would likely sell for with full market exposure before comparing that number to any cash offer, because you can't judge a deal you haven't actually measured against anything. And keep in mind that vacant homes carry their own risks, so make sure someone is actively keeping an eye on the property in the meantime. If you're feeling overwhelmed with organizing personal belongings, handling a property cleanout, keeping up with maintenance on a vacant home, or you simply want a trusted referral for a probate attorney or CPA, we're here to help. Drop your questions in the comments below or reach out to us directly, and we'd be glad to walk through it with you. In California probate, every situation is generally different, and permanent estate decisions should never be made from online advice alone, ours included. You're going through a difficult time, but you're not doing it alone. If this video helped bring you some clarity today, please like it, subscribe for more guidance like this, and share it with anyone else who might be going through the same thing right now. We'll see you in the next one. Please remember, attorneys handle the law, accountants handle the numbers. I manage what actually goes wrong in real life: property, people, timelines, and conflict.